Have you ever struggled with coming up with the things to talk about? Does your brain ever just freeze and you end up with a long, awkward silence? Learning and using these 4 topics will allow you to build large amounts of rapport with just about anyone and will also allow you to create long-lasting friendships. An easy way to remember these 4 is through an acronym I like to call FORD. Welcome to Prepared Leaders, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to never run out of things to say and how you can keep a conversation flowing. Let's jump right into it. F stands for family. Everyone has some sort of family. They are an integral part of our lives. They're the first people that we get to know. And for that reason, we hold a special place in our hearts for them. Studies have found time and time again that when people share family-related matters with strangers, they feel significantly closer to them afterward. Now, the main problem with speaking about family is that it can sometimes come off very strongly if you ask someone about their family up front. What you need to do instead is branch the conversation in a way so that the topic of the family naturally pops up. Here are 2 ways to go about doing this. The first is by talking about your family first. Let's say, for example, you're at a party and you're talking with some girl, and you notice there's a very loud, excited guy on the dance floor. You could say something like this. You see that guy over there? He really reminds me of my older brother, who's always energetic and not afraid to let loose. I feel like older siblings are always like that. Do you have any siblings? By saying something like this, you direct the conversation towards family and you also take the initiative to open up first. This gives her an opportunity to talk about her siblings without having to keep her guard up. If she doesn't have any siblings, you could say something along the lines of, "Oh, do you ever wish you had one?" Again, the conversation is redirected towards the family and the transition seems smooth. Now, the second way to get someone to talk about their family is by using what are called non-sequiturs, basically assumptions that you make about someone. For example, let's say you meet someone new at the bar. You can say something like, "You know, you look like you come from a big family." Non-sequiturs like this accomplish 2 things. They create a sense of curiosity, leading to questions like, why do you think I come from a big family? They also sometimes cause the listener to correct your statement. Maybe they don't come from a big family and they start talking about it. Perhaps they do come from a big family and they go into details about it. O, which stands for occupation. They say that 45% of our lives are spent on our occupations. Whether it be at school or at work, it's definitely a big part of our lives. Speaking about someone's occupation is actually very common. It's considered a surface-level conversation. You've probably heard lines like, "What's your major?" dozens of times before. The best way to talk about work is to move quickly past these surface-level questions and into a more in-depth conversation. For example, let's say you're on a date and you ask her what she does for a living. She says, "I'm a school teacher." A lot of people make the following mistakes. They go, "Okay, what subject do you teach?" "Okay, what school do you teach at?" "Okay, how old are the kids you teach?" When you ask questions after question, you enter what's called interview mode, and it's very uncomfortable for the listener. What you want to do instead is to add a comment before asking another question. For example, let's say she says, "Oh, I'm a teacher." You could say something along the lines of, "Wow, you know, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a teacher." There's something about inspiring others that's very fulfilling. By saying something like this, you're adding a little bit about how you feel about her occupation before asking the next question. This leads to significantly deeper topics than, "Oh, what school do you work at?" When meeting a stranger, talking about work first is usually the best bet. This is because occupation is talked about in most of the 4 topics. They feel extremely comfortable talking about it. And before we continue, I'll be giving you some time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And let's continue. R, which stands for recreation. Everyone has some sort of recreational activity. It could be an interest or a hobby. Sometimes it is even something that they are very passionate about. Similar to talking about your occupation, you want to ask surface level questions like adding comments in between. An easy way to lead a conversation into talking about recreation is by simply asking, "What do you like to do?" Yes, I know it's cliche, but it works very well. Recreation is more difficult to discuss than occupation because you are more likely to meet someone who enjoys doing something you are unfamiliar with. All you have to do is approach the conversation with the following mentality. Why is this activity so exciting for him or her? Let's say, for example, you meet someone who tells you they like rock climbing and you've never done it before. You could say something along the lines of, "Oh, that's cool. I've always thought rock climbing was an interesting sport. Why do you like it so much?" Questions like these really make the other person feel like they're being listened to. They also allow the other person to really dive deep and explain to you why they enjoy their recreational activity as much as they do. D, which stands for dreams. Without a doubt, this is the most powerful topic you can talk to someone about. Everyone has a dream that they are pursuing or wish they could be pursuing. And this topic is especially powerful nowadays because the average person does not get to pursue their dream. Oftentimes, it is because there is very little support in our society. Most people are told to just get conventional jobs instead of pursuing their passions by everyone around them, including their parents and friends. So if you step in and show that you are supportive of their dreams, they will begin to think very fondly of you. Dreams are oftentimes the hardest things to get people to open up about. And this is why it's the last one of our four topics I like to bring up with someone. Before talking about dreams, you should make sure you have gotten to know the person well enough. This will help you get answers that mean something. For example, number one, sometimes you'll get an idea of what a person's dream is by talking about their recreational activity. If they mention that they like to draw, their dream might be to become an artist one day. So the first trick is to use this information to make an educated guess. So for the person who likes to draw, you might ask, "Have you ever thought about becoming an artist for a living?" And as you can see, this can easily lead to a deeper conversation. Number two, to get someone to open up about their dreams is to talk about the bigger picture. Now, what does that mean? Well, sometimes I go on a date and I'll be walking with a guy through a park, and I will just look at the sky and say, "Just look up there. The universe is so vast. It's so big. I feel like our lives have more meaning, more than just a 9 to 5 job." Have you ever dreamed of accomplishing something bigger than what you're doing right now? Yes, it's super cheesy, but again, it works. It redirects the conversation to dreams. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a big thumbs up and turn on the notification bell so you'll know when we upload new contents. Leave a comment down below if you have questions and be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'll see you all on my next video.